The earthquake window closes in Colombia.
Rescuers know what comes next.
2,000 dead now in the Ebola outbreak.
The WHO chief has said it plainly, this will be the worst on record.
These are the hours that decide things. What can still be done and what is already lost. The count continues in both places.
A major match is underway in Morocco. South Africa and Nigeria are facing off at the Moulay Rachid Stadium in Casablanca. The game is part of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament. But there's more at stake than the continental title. This match also is a player for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. South Africa's team is known as the Banyana. Nigeria plays as the Super Falcons. The winner moves closer to qualifying for the global tournament. Complete Sports is providing live updates of the action as it happens. Complete Sports NG reported this. Ireland has launched an investigation into its alumina exports to Russia. The government wants to know whether the material has been ending up in the supply chains of Russian weapons manufacturers that are under sanctions. The probe follows reporting by the Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project and its partners. They examined how Irish alumina might be reaching sanctioned Russian arms makers. Alumina is a key ingredient in aluminum production. It can be used in military equipment and weapons systems. The Irish investigation will look at whether export controls have been properly enforced. Sanctions are meant to prevent materials from reaching Russia's defense industry. OCCRP reported this. Eurovision Song Contest will be held in Bulgaria in 2 years' time. The host city is Burgas, on the Black Sea coast. Bulgaria earned the right to stage the competition after its entry won this year. The winning singer was Dara. It's the first time Bulgaria has hosted Eurovision. The country has competed in the contest since 2005, but had never won before Dara's victory. Burgas is Bulgaria's fourth largest city. It sits on the western shore of the Black Sea. The contest typically attracts around 200 million viewers worldwide. BBC World reported this. Australia's national security is under threat from the rise of populism. That's the message Foreign Minister Penny Wong will deliver in a speech on Friday. She'll argue that what she calls the melancholic fantasy of monoculture puts the country at risk. The speech is expected to link Australia's diversity directly to its security interests. Wong will use the high-profile address to warn against movements that reject multiculturalism. She believes such thinking weakens Australia. The Foreign Minister has chosen to make national security the frame for defending diversity. It's a deliberate shift in how the government talks about immigration and social cohesion. ABC Australia Just-In reported this. A Democratic gubernatorial candidate in Wisconsin is running without support from her party's most prominent progressive voices. Francesca Hong is campaigning for governor but hasn't received endorsements from high-profile figures like Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's notable because other progressive candidates running this election cycle have drawn backing from these big names. The absence of star power comes at a time when progressives are otherwise positioned for significant electoral gains across the country. Hong's campaign is proceeding with a lower national profile than some of her counterparts in other states. Politico reported this.
Rescuers in Colombia were making last-ditch efforts to locate earthquake survivors early Thursday.
The critical 72-hour window for rescue operations neared its end. Now to California.
A bill would allow Jews to identify themselves as an ethnic group on state forms. Supporters say it acknowledges the complex nature of Jewish identity.
Time is running out for earthquake survivors in Colombia. Rescue teams were working through the night on Thursday, searching for anyone still trapped in the rubble. They were racing against the clock as the crucial 72-hour window for finding people alive was coming to an end. The operation has now entered what rescuers are calling its final phase. After 3 days, the chances of pulling survivors from collapsed buildings drop sharply. The search continues for now, but the window is closing. CBS News reported this. California lawmakers are considering a bill that would let residents identify as Jewish on official state forms. The proposal would treat Jewish identity as an ethnic category, not just a religious one. Right now, state forms don't offer that option. Supporters of the bill say it would recognize something important about how Jewish identity works. It's complicated. For many Jews, being Jewish is about heritage and culture, not only faith. The measure would change how the state collects information about its residents. It could affect everything from census data to university applications. This comes as debates about identity categories continue across the country. Different groups want recognition that fits how they actually see themselves. New York Times reported this. Premier League club has made a bid for a star player that's been described as disgraceful. Arsenal submitted the offer. It was turned down immediately. The club whose player attracted the interest has not been named. Neither has the player in question. The rejection was instant, suggesting the bid fell well short of what would be considered acceptable. Arsenal now face a decision on whether to return with an improved offer or look elsewhere. The transfer window remains open, but time is running out for clubs to complete their business. talkSPORT reported this. Working as a married couple in church ministry can create tensions between public leadership and private life. The Reverend Jamal Bryant is senior pastor of a megachurch in the Atlanta area. His wife serves as an executive pastor at the same church. Bryant acknowledged the challenges. He said even they can have rough patches in their marriage. The couple must balance their professional roles with their personal relationship. They lead a congregation together while maintaining boundaries between what's sacred to the church and what remains private between them. Bryant described the arrangement as a gift rather than a curse. Religion News reported this. The Ebola outbreak in Africa is now on track to become the deadliest on record. The World Health Organization's chief has confirmed the grim milestone. The outbreak was declared on the 15th of May. Since then, more than 2,000 people have died. Thousands more cases have been reported across the affected region. The figures mark this as the worst Ebola crisis ever documented. Previous outbreaks killed fewer people, though the disease has long been one of the most feared in global health. The WHO is the United Nations agency responsible for tracking infectious diseases worldwide. BBC Africa reported this.